What's up, everybody? It's Adam with Pietronix Audio, and you're listening to the Rock, Paper, Scissors podcast, the show where we interview musicians about how they stay rockin', how they make that paper, and how they cut out resistance. I want to thank the Music Group Studios in Edmond for letting us film here, and if you want to find out more about Pietronix audio cables, visit our website at pietronix.com or visit us on social media at Pietronix Audio. Thanks for watching. What's up, everybody? This is the Pietronix Rock, Paper, Scissors podcast. I'm Adam Ray. Today, for our very first episode, I wanted to have Kendrik McKinney on. What's up, Kendrik?
How's it going, man?
Great. Kendrik's a good friend. We've toured together. We've been in the Stinky Van together. Kendrik's made a name for himself around Oklahoma City, for sure, and the whole state. And he's been up to a lot of successful musician things that everybody needs to be knowing how he's doing, and so you can soak up the knowledge. So I wanted him to be my first guest, and we can talk about what you've been up to, what's worked for you, and stuff like that. So first, of course, Rock, Paper, Scissors podcast is how do you keep rocking? So, like, in general, what inspires you to keep going, like, musically, and then, you know, the whole the hustle and pursuit of everything.
Yeah, man. First off, thanks for having me out.
Absolutely.
What you and Mike and Pedro are doing with Pietronix is awesome. And really awesome cables you got here.
Yeah, they are.
Cool, yeah. The biggest thing I think for me is, you know, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing in a sense of music every day, music as my career, you know, as a way to express myself and also support myself and my family. And I'm lucky that I get to do that every day. It's definitely not easy, but it's a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just your love and passion of music, and you can't do anything else. Like, you have to do it.
Yeah, it would be really hard for me to be doing anything else, or, you know, having a very strict 9-to-5 job or something like that. I've never had a real job like that, so.
You've picked up so much work now that you don't need to, and so that's what everybody's trying to do in the music world.
So yeah, I think the big thing that keeps me going is, you know, playing with all of these awesome people that we have, even just in Oklahoma City, you know, a lot of really, really world-class guys and gals that are just couldn't find it anywhere else in the world that's better than that. You know, Ray and Dave Bowen, very, very close to the two of them. Every single week I get to play with them, and they whip me in shape. And, you know, people like, you know, Trevor Galvin, Steve Pruitt, you know. I have a lot of people that I play with that push me to be better, that, you know, inspire me to keep doing that, you know, and making those moments that are like, oh, I want to do that again, or oh, I want to figure out how to get that moment again, you know.
Yeah, those live music moments are really special. Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's like, you know, it's kind of like a drug. It's like, oh, wow, how can I get that exact feeling again? Or, you know, can we just play that tune over and over and over again? You know, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it seems like you've been doing, like, live music has been your focus for, like, this year at least.
Yeah, it's been weird. You know, we're at the Music Group in Edmond. It's my favorite studio by far to record out of, and I've done a lot of records here and done a lot of singles here. But this year I've probably been here the least amount that I've been playing and, you know, kind of producing shows and directing shows and, you know, hustling, selling tickets. And it's looked a little bit different this year for sure.
Well, yeah. So you've done a few things to up, like, the venues you started in to kind of up the ante. Talk about, like, the last couple of years with what you've done with Jazz Night and then, you know, the Tower shows. Just tell me kind of from start, like, concept to finish.
Yeah.
Not, you know, for 3 hours, but.
Cool. No, yeah, for sure. So every single Wednesday, we have a really awesome jazz night at the 51st Street Speakeasy. And right when kind of COVID let up, and, you know, Greg kind of had the idea and we had talked about it before. But right, you know, I think it was, it would have been May of 2021, so it's been over 2 years. And it's a cool show. We do, I have Ray and Dave Bowen with me every single time.
I'm going to interject for people. So Dave Bowen and Ray Bowen, they're a married couple that are drummer and bass player. They're the top call cats in Oklahoma City and around, and they're married, and that it makes it cool that they're a rhythm section. They're so tight together. Anyway, go ahead. Like,
Yeah.
the jazz nights, they make them killer. So.
World class. David Bowen has been in my life for a very long time. Grew up around my family, those kinds of things. And then Ray came from Taiwan as a foreign exchange student, and she met Dave, and somehow they fell in love.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. So, couldn't be a better situation having them. They're a lot older than me, a lot different place in life, and so get to play with them every single week, which is awesome. But this show, the first set is very, very intentional. We have a featured artist every single week. Mr. Mitch Bell, he's a guitar player. Once again, world-class guitar player, has taught me a lot about all kinds of stuff in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Every week that he can be there, that he's in town, he's with us at the Speakeasy. But we have an intentional first set where we bring in a featured artist, and we'll do a couple of their originals, a couple of standards, maybe Ray has a tune, or maybe Mitch brings in a tune or something like that. And then we take a break, and after that, it's a jazz jam session until midnight, which is super cool. We have, at least 15 people every single week that are professionals, that are students, teachers. There's guys that are coders and developers that used to play in jazz band in college that, get to come and play their horn every week, or there's some really, really serious young guys that are really working on this that get to work out some tunes that they've been working on, or, some pros like Trevor Galvin. He's there. He's a very, very awesome tenor player. Just there to play, to be in the scene, to shed on some tunes, but also just to be there and support. So it's a really, really, really cool project that we have going on there.
Yeah.
And it's
you've made a name for yourself around town, and they were able to start selling tickets. Like, this gets into making that paper. Like, it's just a bar that's trying to do live music, but once you get the pull, everybody knows you're doing this great event, then you can start selling tickets and get a little bigger band or whatever. So you've done that along the way.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved into a much bigger thing, which is awesome. We have 2 sponsors that are with us every single week that are here for at least 6 months. We do table reservations, so it's a free cover charge, but it gets pretty busy in there. It's packed almost every week. So unless you're there before 8, sometimes you can't find a table. So table reservations, it's like, well, this guarantees that you have a table.
Yeah. So, like, tell me about the bigger venue shows you've been doing. That, like, you did the awesome Prince tribute show, and then from there, I know that was a big project, and you like did really well at it. So you've done more since then. So.
Yeah, the Prince tribute was something that I've been thinking about for 10 years since I was a kid. 17, 18 years old. It's like, at some point I want to play all my favorite Prince tunes. My parents were both musicians, and my dad was a Prince fanatic. So I grew up, around all the Prince records, old, new, knowing all that stuff. And so I had mentioned it to a good friend of mine, Lucas Gillette. He's an artist around town, but he's also the GM of Tower Theater. I'd mentioned it to him, and he's like, oh, that's kind of a good idea. In months, and, a year goes by, he said, hey, maybe let's talk about that. And I didn't, in the back of my mind, I thought, it's not ready. I don't know the right people yet. I'm with that kind of stuff. I'm sort of very much so a perfectionist.
Well, it's your favorite music. You want to do it right. Yeah.
So it's like, I got to get some people. And then I kind of analyzed the guys that are around me. It's like, we could do it. We could definitely do it, And it worked out really, really well. We got Mark Letary from Snarky Puppy to come play guitar.
Yeah.
And that was super cool. He was an awesome dude, very personable. And Wes Stevenson's been on the last 2 on bass. Just an awesome dude. I played with him with Steve Pruitt too, doing the jazz stuff.
Yeah.
And he is awesome. Yeah, can do it all. Same with Steve Pruitt. He's now the head of jazz drums at UNT, starting that this semester.
Yeah.
So, they've both been with me on all these past shows. I had
Heavy
Stevie
hitters,
Wonder.
for sure.
Yes, we did Prince, then Stevie Wonder. The Prince show sold out. It was great. Stevie Wonder was, close to that. It was a really good show. And next, I've kind of thrown a curveball. We're doing Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
So, kind of trying to figure out.
Well, we're in Oklahoma.
That's right. I grew up in Yukon, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Literally
Home of Garth
a
Brooks.
mile from where Garth Brooks used to live.
Garth Brooks
growing up.
Boulevard.
That's right. So we've got a long list of really awesome country people that are gonna come and take a stab at Garth Brooks with me.
When is that show?
That's October 20th at Tower Theater. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So like, what other ways have you been making that paper? I know like gigging your ass off, but I know you do sessions, you do lessons. Like, tell me about all the different ways you've been making your money, your cheddar.
Yeah. My income, you know, comes from a lot of different places, you know. And for a while that was like kind of scary, but then you realize if one thing goes away, well, you got 12 other jobs, you know, you'll be all right. I do a lot of different stuff. I would say the majority of my money comes from playing live shows 5-6 nights a week.
Yeah.
I do a lot of charting and transcription, whether that's horn charts, horn arrangements, string charts. I do a lot of interesting projects that are transcription projects where it's like, okay, here's this, I need it in staff format, or I need an entire book of chord charts for my originals, or things like that.
Yeah.
You know, these live shows and really marketing and ticket sales have been a whole new thing I've stepped into, and figuring out, you know, Facebook analytics. And
You're doing it all
ads.
yourself, right? You don't have a social media team.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of figuring that out, YouTube videos and all kinds of different forums, and figuring out what's best. And I've spent a lot of money on random ads that didn't work just to, you know, prove they didn't work, if that makes sense. So just kind of figuring that stuff out has been a lot of fun. It's put me into, you know, I would say more than I've ever been. I feel like a small business owner in the sense of I'm spending at least 12, 14 hours a week, you know, doing the business side of things, making phone calls, writing checks, you know, getting people to places, writing emails, things that, you know.
All of that just so you can play music, what you really want to do.
Right, absolutely. It's like, how can I keep doing this, but also, you know, I have a wife and 2 baby girls, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So
yeah, it's
like, how can I keep doing this, but scale it at a higher level to where I'm, you know, I need to make more than $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, you know.
Yeah.
I need to be making enough money to buy a house, to
you got
do those kinds of things.
2 kids going to college someday.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, to invest in retirement. So that's what I ended up doing, is I ended up kind of hustling a bunch of shows. Same with there's a venue in Edmond around midnight. We've been doing tribute shows to the jazz greats. So we've done Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, Dexter Gordon, John Coltrane, and we're doing Billie Holiday this Sunday, actually. So
yeah,
it's basically like, hey, here's what I've got. I've got a show. Make the ticket link and just make it happen. So it was a lot at first. I've lost money on things.
Tell me about that. Tell me about the ads that went wrong, and like kind of what, if you learned how to target correctly or whatever. Like, tell me about your progress through that.
Yeah. There's a lot of different variations and things that can change where you might or might not put an ad. I think the biggest thing is figuring out who your target audience is for whatever show.
And you go and make like a custom audience and ads manager.
Absolutely, yeah. Make a custom audience. You can basically, you know, tell it how many times you want this ad to be seen by each individual before it goes away. You know, there's all different kinds of things that you can do. I can take maybe like a 3 or 5 mile radius from the venue, and then I can actually cut out pieces of that radius. It might be a industrial part of town that's the train tracks or something where there's no houses, no one's gonna.
Right, you're not gonna waste money advertising there.
Exactly. So you can, you know, stick that slot in a neighborhood or something like that.
Yeah.
Just little random things like that I figured out that have worked.
So like, there's probably a difference between like the tribute shows. It would be kind of easy to target Prince fans for the Prince show.
Right.
But like, what have you done for your like jazz night? How do you target those audiences? Is it just locally and like age group?
Locally, age group mainly. a lot of it is I'll target it by alcohol, or I'll say
like drinks is one of the categories.
Well, you can get pretty specific. Drinks, martini, espresso martini. I mean, those kinds of people that potentially.
It's crazy how specific you can get with targeting.
I've kind of dug a little deep into.
So like espresso martini, that's like somebody that's going to go to a jazz lounge and be a fancy drinker.
And they have espresso martinis that are like their thing there. So, you know, it just.
And they were
like
good, by the way. Around midnight makes a great espresso martini.
Yeah. I have never had one. But I've
somebody bought me one, and it like brought it to the stage. It was great.
Nice.
So what's like your routine, like daily or weekly, to keep all this juggling that you got?
There's no. I mean, I'm
you just hustle to the next thing.
Yeah,
like,
sort of. You know, and I get the cool thing is I do teach during the day. That's another thing that I have income from. I've got 13 students right now that are private lesson students, but I don't work all day during the day. So whereas, you know, the average guy that worked a 9 to 5 might not be able to see his kids that much, but, you know, I have a lot of time during the day where, you know, some days, it just depends on the day, and, you know, there's times in the middle of the week where I'm just not home for what feels like 48 hours, but you know, I get a lot of time during the day to spend time with the family, which is cool. I work a lot while they all sleep.
Yeah.
That's a positive. So
that's what we're doing right now. It's pretty late.
That's right. I said I'll be over here after the kids are asleep.
Yeah. So I want to know, I wanted to make this for musicians. We're all full-time musicians trying to make it, pursuing our art. And it's hard. Like you said, you got to be your own small business. You can't make enough to hire a marketing agency. So you got to be the marketing agency. You got to be, your own booking agent and everything. So, what are some specific resistance? I got, the term resistance from the book, the War of Art. And he talks about resistance with capital R, and it's always whatever's holding you back from pursuing your art. And it can be anything. So like, what resistances have you come across, and like, how have you overcome them?
That's a hard question. I think the biggest resistance would be making sure people show up to these shows. Because at the end of the day, all of these are a gamble. I have a guarantee for all these musicians I hire, and I pay them like I would want to be paid, and I guarantee that rate, and I pay it to them before we even do the show. So that means I better get people there to the show, So the biggest resistance has been like feeling, at least, in this season, is feeling like I'm just absolutely annoying and bugging the shit out of everyone. On social media, if something's really bad, everyone knows they'll get text messages from me. Say, hey, hope you're doing well. And then it's like, I go to text that person. It's like the last two things I sent them were a show. I feel like, I feel bad.
Same here. Yeah. So
it's like, and then it's like, do I put another ad? It's like, can I justify doing that? In a weird place, it's like, okay, do I make cuts from the production side if that's an option?
Right.
Do I, XYZ, those kinds of things. It's like based on ticket sales. And then sometimes that's happened, and then at the door it works out perfect, and you're great, and everyone's up, including you. And then sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's part of it,
What, like, it's not fun to talk about, but like, what's been a fail in the past year, maybe like a show that's flopped or something?
Yeah, maybe? Part of this is what I'm talking about. I started kind of doing this thing late last fall, kind of October and November, December, kind of like hustling my own shows. I was already doing the speakeasy, but kind of bigger ticketed events. And it worked out great. Almost everything sold out. And then move into this year, I did a great Valentine's show. And then we did the Prince show, and it was great. Then I did that first show around midnight, sold out. Prince show sold out.
You're feeling like $1 million.
Feeling like $1 million. So I tripled up in the month of July. I had 4 shows that were all a gamble, basically one each week. And come to find out, everyone's at the lake in July. They're at,
Yeah.
grandma's house in Kansas, or they're at Disney World, or they're at Destin, Florida, or they just got back from there and they don't want to go out. So next summer, I'll probably relax a little more. It's the first summer I didn't take a vacation. I was hustling it, and that was kind of a sign. It was like, hey, maybe you should chill out a little bit in the summertime. Everybody else is doing that. They don't want to. Not that they don't want to come to the show, but they got a lot going on. Maybe they're financially tied up in those vacations, or in general, So yeah, I had a couple shows that were a profit loss or broke even after, dozens and dozens of hours worth of work, or putting it into it, or, those kinds of things. So, I mean, you win some, you lose some, you got to break even overall.
Have you found that booking back to back to back kind of hurts you because you're breaking up your audience?
No.
Or you hop around town?
I've been worried about that a little bit, but really that hasn't affected too much of it. And that's part that I feel like I'm annoying everyone because, for instance, the Garth Brooks tribute is October 20th. I'm doing a tribute to Oscar Peterson Trio on the 22nd,
So you're going to be, go to this.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, but the good thing is the other venues in Edmond, they're 10 miles apart, and they definitely draw a different crowd. And, some of the people will come to both shows. Some of them won't, but that hasn't been a problem yet. I
keep telling myself the city, the metro has 1 million people. It's possible to get them out to a show. We just got to figure out what works.
Right. And we got to, we're lucky, we've gotten to play at the good venues. The Speakeasy, VZD's is closing, but, Tower, things like that, Pony Boy. We need a couple of more venues that are good live music venues that support original music like that.
Yeah, I've had, tribute shows have been super hot this year, and I've had kind of a theory that people are, of course, thirsty for live music after COVID being locked up, but not all of the original touring acts are up and running. So like the tribute shows are like, oh, we're ready, let's go do it. And people are like, they still want great music. So like, there's been so many tribute shows this year coming through our town, through Dallas, all the big cities. And it's such like, if you can do it and play great music, it's great.
Right.
And like, I think it's just been a fun trend to watch. And I knew live music would be like, people would be thirsty for live music after COVID. I think my theory is we're still going to have a roaring 20s, like through the rest of the 20s. It's 2023 now. We got 7 more years to like party.
Until what?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
That's a different podcast.
Hopefully
that one's on Thursdays.
Not everything repeats itself, but so like, I want to tell everybody like what you got going on in the future. What plans you got? I've heard actually a recording you did for the Help Oklahoma Teachers album. And it was burning. It was where'd you record that, and like how'd you make that? That was awesome.
Yeah, we recorded that here at the music group in Studio B, which was cool. Had Ray and Dave Bowen and Trevor Galvin on that one. So that was a project that one of my good friends, Alex Coleman, he fell into, and he was heading up. That was, I think it's Catapult Records was the record label that was, and you had a tune on that, right? Yeah, absolutely. And so it's a nonprofit record that they released, and all the profits will go to Oklahoma teachers. So, and
I want to see more recordings from you. When are you going to do that?
Yeah, my philosophy is a little interesting. I have not arrived anywhere yet. I don't like recording necessarily my own stuff. I'll play on other people's records, great, and I'll work hard on that. But I got a lot of stuff to do before I want to record my own records. So that was kind of a one-off thing. Maybe some stuff that's not straight ahead jazz. I've still got a lot, everyone says you'll never be anything till you're 40, and that's true. It's a hard walk.
I must be something now.
That's right. Absolutely. The age. But yeah, that's not really in the near future. I don't think that's not in my plans.
What else that I don't know about? What are you dreaming up for like 2024? Like,
well, We don't know exactly yet. So
You're good at playing it by ear, improvising.
We've got some stuff coming up. There's going to be a Christmas show, I think, at Tower Theater. That's going to be. We haven't quite figured that out yet. So that's in the works.
Nice.
We're just still conceptualizing that and how that could work, what it looks like, production-wise, what it looks like, logistics, those kinds of things.
So how can people reach you, like online, on your social media and all that stuff?
At Kendrik McKinney on Instagram, Facebook.com/Kendrik McKinney. Any of those things work. Linktree/Kendrik McKinney. It's really just my name. Just Google it and you'll find my website, KendrikMcKinneymusic.com. Any of those places work.
You're the one that taught me about Linktree. You were like, you got to get one.
Oh yeah, that's nice. It's kind of everything all in one place. You can scan it. They can tip with a credit card. They can tip with a bank account, I think.
Yeah, you can connect it to any kind of link you want. It's great for people that can't yet afford their own website.
Right.
Like, Linktree's free, and you can just make, like 4 or 6, however many buttons to what links you want, and customize it all.
The main thing I did it for is for the QR codes on the tables. So with Jazz Night, with Around Midnight, with these special shows.
How does that work?
Well, not only can they scan it and tip, but they can buy a ticket to the next show. They can
follow
me on social media. They can check out a video. They can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Figure out how to book me for a private event. That's on there as well. All that kind of stuff.
Do you make your own like QR codes and put them on tables?
Yeah, my wife did it. Yeah.
Nice.
She made them. So we just, it's actually gaff tape on the back, looped around.
Yeah.
With a laminated piece of paper, basically.
These are the practical things musicians need to know.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You've been killing it, and I wanted other people to see what you've been doing so we can all copy you and, stand on the shoulders of giants, learn from them.
I'm still learning, day by day. I haven't arrived anywhere. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Yep.
Well, thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. We're going to do it again with another guest, and we're going to keep rock, paper, scissoring. I want to thank the Music Group Studios in Edmond for letting us film here. And if you want to find out more about Pietronix audio cables, visit our website at pietronix.com or visit us on social media at Pietronix Audio. Thanks for watching.